So picked up this old girl here in Iowa, and we're going to try and get it running a little better. Got a lot of little TLC that it's needing. There she is in all of her 30-plus-year-old glory. 1988 Honda NX250. And we'll move her back a little bit and show you what we have planned. So we're in Iowa. It's February 19th and it is cold. Right now I think it's 12 degrees outside, and with the wind chill it feels like 2 degrees. So I am in all of my Carhartt glory, and I care more about staying warm than looking impressive. So this is what you get. But so yeah, we'll look over the bike a little more, show you what I planned for it, and just kind of watch this build. Overall, not really looking to do anything crazy. Just want to get her looking good again, a more rideable condition, and yeah, we'll go from there. Alright, so a couple little things. I've already attempted to fix the front brake that is seizing, so it'll clamp down, but it doesn't do anything after that. So I've actually rode it around a bit with no front brake, and on these snowy, icy, and/or wet roads, depending on the day, whether it's 45 degrees or 8, gets a little sketchy. So we're not going to do that anymore. Got some new fork boots on the way, and because I am cheap, I got the pink ones from Daystar Series 58s, which are apparently a good match for this bike. But I found the pink ones for $12 instead of spending $25 or $30 for the black or blue ones. So another couple things. We're going to switch this rear brake. We're going to move that brake rod to the top to keep it from hitting rocks. It's apparently an issue, so we'll address that. And this brake light right now is not working correctly, so we'll look at that a little more. Also, shift lever does not have any rubber on it, and I don't want to scratch up my boots any more than I have to, so it was wrapped up with electrical tape. And so yeah, I got a new one spied out for that. A couple nights ago I did work on these left controls. That turn signal was not working well, so went in there, took it all apart, cleaned up the contacts, re-greased it, so it's working a lot better. And cleaned out this brake master cylinder reservoir. I thought maybe that's what was causing some of my seizing with the front brake. So I'm debating on whether getting a whole new set of levers off of eBay, which I can, for 20 bucks, get a new set of levers for both sides, which would also fix the broken clutch assembly there. You can see at one point it must have taken a bit of a dump because this is all scratched up as well. But yeah, if I pick out the $20 set of levers I'm looking at, we could potentially avoid having to replace stuff later. But need to talk with some friends, see if they're any good at all. One thing that did not go as I planned is trying to get that brake fitting out of the master cylinder reservoir. Even with the right size wrenches, it didn't want to come off, and it was already rounded off a bit before I played with it. And that goes to a set of hard lines that are down underneath the bike, and then it goes back to rubber hose again. And as you can see, that headlight is nice and cracked, but the only one on eBay right now is like 80 bucks, and it's not worth it. So we might address the headlight, but the previous owner did put in some spotlights down here, and those actually work pretty well. They light up the road really nicely, so for now I'll probably just leave them. they're functional. That's what we're going for here. Nothing super pretty. Also, as you can tell, there's some paint. We're going to get that cleaned up and repainted at some point. Don't know if I'm going to bother addressing, sorry you can't really see that, but you can see the holes there, zip ties that hold the headlight fairing to the side fairings. So, repaint, maybe stretch new fabric over the seat, maybe some new turn signals, maybe do a fender eliminator if I can find a good place to put the license plate that I like. Oh, let me show you. Deciding whether or not I should keep the stock bar is probably not really worth messing with at this point. And as you can see, my gauges are also cracked. So, need to decide what we want to do there. I have noticed, as I've been playing with it a little more, there's some pieces that are missing inside the headlight fairing here, but not sure if it's really worth messing with a whole lot. So yeah, just want to get her running again. I'm just gonna check out the bulb. I think it's a dual filament. I think it's an 1157. I looked it up already. Pop her open, see if there's a filament bad. I feel like that's one of the easiest places to start. If not that, then we'll start looking at the brake switches, because the rear brake also doesn't seem to do anything. So since neither the front or rear seem to be doing anything, let's check the brake light first. Looks like both filaments are, I don't know if you'll be able to see that. Both filaments are connected. Neither of them seem broken. And only one is lighting up. See if I hold it for a bit. So it's not glowing. So we will need to go to our fancy box of bulbs, fuses, and all kinds of random electrical things. I'm going to have to go buy one. But at least we know what's wrong. I think this is that bulb I already looked at. Oh, nope, hey. Do we see a code on there? It looks to be the right one. Let's give it a shot. How hot is this? Alright. Not too bad. Hey, let's hope. Alright, first filament works. Hey, we are in business. Alright. Gently put that back together. We don't need to break any more plastics on this old girl. There's a couple tabs there at the top. And then we'll just put those screws back in underneath. And hey, we got that fixed easy. That's cool. Now I don't feel so bad riding it with without the brake light. Actually, I didn't realize it till a couple days ago, so I was just an idiot putzing around. So we're going to give this guy a Tosky. Alright, I'll go ahead and screw that back together and move on to something else. There's not much there to actually cut it out well. At least I don't think so. Hopefully someone can tell me wrong. But I do like how the stock taillight looks with the rear fairing, so I don't specifically want to mess with that. So I think for now I'll leave it. I'm still gonna look at changing out the turn signals here. Probably get the same ones for front and back, but maybe something a little bit shorter, a little bit more modern. But the ones that I had picked out that I really liked just aren't a match for the bike. They'd look good on a newer street bike or something, but not on this guy. So also we got the front brakes fixed. Got that front caliper, got a seal kit in it, and there was no corrosion on the pistons themselves, but what we did have was some shot seals and also some corrosion inside the recesses where those seals sat. So there was stuff pushing on the back side of those seals, pressing them against the pistons harder, and then the pistons were, or the seals were just getting chewed up. So also through this process I learned that when you have a totally drained brake line, and this hasn't seemed to have been an issue with the cars I've worked on in the past, or maybe just not noticed as much because of how the master cylinders might differ, but I had a ton of air in the master cylinder or in the lines, and I kept pumping and I kept pumping, and it wasn't building any pressure. I read up online a little bit, did some more research, found out there's just a bunch of air in the line, which is good because I prefer not to replace the master cylinder if I don't have to. I might do it anyways, since that clutch perch is broken. But actually what I found is if I just actuated it just a little bit, that actually got more bubbles out than if I did a full pull. So that felt really good now, and it's good to have front brakes on it again. I did ride around a few times with just the rear brakes, and that got really sketchy really quick. Also because there's sand and all kinds of stuff on the road because it's Iowa and we're just coming out of winter. So just got the maintainer on the battery. It was down to about 62% today when I tried to, well, it was at 62% when I rode it today, and I had to put it on the battery charger before that. So so just got that going, make sure it has a good charge on it. One thing I do want to really show you guys is that the aftermarket exhaust on this, when it's put on, let me get the right angle here so you can see the two parts we're going to talk about. So there's 2 points. There's, I believe it's this bolt right here, and then right here. The stock muffler has a cast piece on the back end of it that connects those 2 points, and is actually part of the frame support. And without that, supposedly you can actually twist the frame, I'm guessing on the back end of the bike here. So we're going to see if we can get something fabricated there. Otherwise, she's running well, and yeah, we're gonna keep working on it, figure out some paint colors, figure out turn signals. The brake lever needs adjusted down a little bit. It's kind of high for my liking right now, and I think I mentioned this before, but we're going to raise this up and put it on the top side, so if you are going off-road, you're not hitting the brake linkage on rocks. Also, we do have a new rear shock. You can't really see in there very well because of the lighting. Maybe from the other side. There we go. You can see the blue spring. So that is going to get replaced. With this guy. I believe it's off a GSXR 750, like a 2001 or something. So we'll get this guy cleaned up, put it in there, and I think that's about it.